All right, let's now bring in Chief Executive Officer for Save the Children South Africa, Gugu Xaba. Gugu, thank you so much for your time this afternoon, and a good afternoon to you. So over the past few weeks, we've been hearing how some of these illegal miners operating at the Stilfontein mine had been underground for months, some close to 2 years, we heard. What is shocking now is that some of these so-called zamazamas are in fact children. I mean, surely this discovery should now compel government to fast-track just regulating some of these mines. What's your reaction?
Thank you very much for the question. And we agree with you as Save the Children South Africa. But now what we are seeing is that government has been for years in conversations with countries like Mozambique and Zimbabwe about the concerns that cause migrants to move into South Africa, and trying to get governments, even in those countries, to make sure that there is conversations, there's education about why a person can move and what they do when they get to the country that they have gone to. Because it's important for both governments to take responsibility. In this case, you have a child that is trafficked. It could have been trafficked by a syndicate. It could have been trafficked by the people that are working underground because they want cheap labor. All those are concerns that must be discussed by both countries. Government in country is clear about the kind of work that can be done by a minor who is below 18 years and cannot be done. So all that is communicated. No one doesn't know about it, and employers know about it. So in this case, because there's illegal mining, you are bound to have illegal practices by the people that are employing those particular children that they take underground. So there is a need to make sure that there's responsibility and accountability by the people that are taking children into the underground surface.
Of course, we know in this particular situation, there are several departments that are involved here, including the police. You have the Departments of Health and Social Development, but also you have the Department of Social Development locally there that has now taken some of these children to places of safety. What for you is key here in as far as those children are concerned? Because when you have children as young as 14 years old working under those circumstances, one can only imagine the status of them from an emotional perspective, but also from a physical perspective too.
As Save the Children, we appreciate the fact that we've got different government departments that are involved, and it's the right departments. One thing that is happening now, we know that assessments have been done so that we understand the physical, emotional and mental status of those particular children. And then we can be able then to provide the necessary support to those children. They are in a place of safety right now. There are social workers that are working with them to get to understand their state and be able to immediately provide the necessary care that those children need. And then, of course, there are assessments that are being done in order to find out the origin of the child. As you said, it's Mozambique and Zim. Where exactly is it? Because their parents are in South Africa already, or they are with their parents underneath, or who has taken them underneath. So all that information will be collected to inform the police and the justice system and to support the ability to respond appropriately to the care of this child. And one thing that's important is that the fact that assessment has been done, there is care for children so that children are not treated together with adults, and we can be able to provide them the attention they deserve in this instance.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that it is a criminal offense to employ a child that's younger than 14 in this country, of course, except in situations warranting the Department of Labor approval. But how prevalent is child labor in South Africa, whether you are a South African child or otherwise? I remember a story earlier this year that we did, of course, where 8 children were rescued from a factory. I do understand at the time it was a Chinese factory where 8 Mozambican children were rescued between the ages of 13 and 17 years old, and they were deported. I speak under correction. But how prevalent is this in this country?
Thank you for the question. We can safely say, as Save the Children of South Africa, children that are in migration, that are unaccompanied, have a high prevalence of being taken into child labor. In many instances, the children are trafficked from the countries of origin. When they get here, the people who traffic them are bringing them over for child labor. So that's where you are likely to see a high percentage of children that are in child labor when you are dealing with children that are in migration. And children can be moving from Eastern Cape into Gauteng. They are likely to be in child labor because you find that that child is looking for a means of survival. So that is where you will see a high prevalence of child labor. But in many instances, we do not see a lot of child labor in country. Yes, we have poverty and inequality. One other thing that you commonly find is children that are being in between 15 and 18, you are likely to find children that are being given house chores for income simply because they are also trying to make a living. But it is not illegal work that must be given to children. So in this instance, I believe government will come in and ensure that the employer or the person who took these children to the Zama activity must account and answer why a child had to be in that space, and let's get to the bottom of the cause of this problem. Thank you.
Absolutely. I wonder if the community of Stilfontein also knew about these children because they were very vocal about this particular matter. But thank you so much, Mam Xaba, for your time this afternoon. Chief Executive Officer for Save the Children South Africa, Gugu Xaba.